Mukam karoti vachalam, panghum langhayate grim, yatkrupa tamaham vande paramananda madhavam. Offering my most loving pranams at the feet of our ever-present loving Swami. Sairam to all of you, brothers and sisters, children who have made a little time today to come and share your Sunday morning with me and my family. Thank you to all of the committee members and the organizers of today's program. Thank you so much for making it possible for so many people to come and listen to Swami's glory. Thank you for coming here today and giving me and my family the opportunity to think of Swami, to speak about him and hear about him. Thank you. This is good. I was just going to do it after I finished my pranam. Thank you all for being here today. When Brother Kumar asked me what would you like to speak about, I have been doing this now for 30 years. Swami, I have done many Bala Vikas Gurus trainings. I became a Bala Vikas Gurus as I was speaking to the Gurus the other day at the age of 14 when I entered 9th grade. Swami asked me to become a Guru. So I used to do a lot of Gurus trainings in the later years when I was in college. And those were all specific topics that were chosen for the training program. So those talks I used to draw from Swami's discourses and of course his many writings. But in 1996, when he said that I should speak about my personal experience, it was a very difficult thing for me because till such time, though as the sister very kindly introduced me today, my family came to Swami when Swami himself was a young man, young boy actually. So the experiences throughout their life, and by the time I even entered this world, they were all deeply rooted in their devotion to Swami. So I did not know anything different, probably like many of the children here in the Bala Vikas who are growing up in the Sai fold. I did not know anything different. The only thing I knew was there was the picture of Sri Rama, picture of Krishna, Shiva, whatever in our puja room, and of course the picture of Swami. I only knew that this God came to our house regularly. The other gods were in the pictures, in the puja room. So that's how I grew up. But though we experienced many things as children, Swami did not particularly encourage us to speak about it to everybody in general. It was shared between the family members, but not as a public thing. Because as you get older and become a little bit more mature, you're able to look back on that particular experience and look at it with different eyes, rather than I am the important person to whom this has happened, which you may do when you're still a little immature and young. So Swami waited quite a long time. And in 1996, in our Region 2 retreat, he asked me to speak there for the first time. And I've been doing now for 30 years. And I probably started, Swami always told me when I first spoke, he told my father called me from Vrindavan and said, Swami is asking you to speak. So go speak. I had refused their invitation to speak and I had said, no, I do not have Swami's permission to speak. When my father went for a drive with Swami and Swami asked my father, why is your daughter refusing to do Swami's work? So my father was a little taken aback and called me and said, are you refusing to do Swami's work? That was an unimaginable thought in my family. So I said, no, I haven't refused. I was doing the Bala Vikas, I was going to the Sai Center, I was doing all things. And he said, I don't know. Swami said, you're refusing. What have you refused? So I said, no, this is just a regional retreat. And they asked me to speak there, and I cannot tell them in the region 2,000 people we gather every year. I said, this is a place where Dr. Goldstein and Dr. Hislop and all these people have spoken, really eminent and great and wonderful devotees. I cannot go there and speak. And so my father said, no, I don't know. I said, please explain to Swami. You see, we forget Sarvaantaryami Swami. That is why I'm giving you the background. I chose with Brother Kumar that I will speak about Sarvaantaryami Swami, and for those who may not understand the phrase, it means omnipresent Swami. And in my case, I'm using the word Swami. Of course, omnipresent God, omnipresent Jesus, Rama, Krishna, Shiva, whatever you all may want to. But for me, the experience has been with Swami. So I told my father, please explain to Swami that this is not some small group of study circle people where I will tell some incident in my life. This is 1,000 people coming to the retreat, and people like this have participated. So I cannot speak there. And my father said, I cannot tell Swami, you do not understand. This is a big group of your devotees. He said, you better, if they asked, you better speak. So I said, no, you please tell Swami, I do not have his permission. You took. Again the next day, Swami after dinner took my father come for a drive in the car. Usually Swami used to go for a drive in Vrindavan in those days after dinner. And he said, now what is your daughter's problem? So I said, Swami, my father put it right. He said, no, Swami, she's very afraid. It's a very large group. She has never spoke about Swami's personal interaction with her. So she's saying that it will be very difficult for her. She's afraid to do it. So Swami said, if you have to do something bad, you have to be afraid. What is there to be afraid to do Swami's work? You should have Papa Bhiti, but not be afraid of Daiva Bhakti. Fear of sin, but love of God. So I started 30 years ago. In fact, this year when I attended our Sri Sathya Sai Regional Global Council retreat, it was exactly 30 years before, 1996, that I spoke, and now it was. So I've been doing this for 30 years. So I'm sure many of you, YouTube and social media and electronic gadgets have taken over my speed. So you have all heard me many times. And you know many of the things in my own life. But many times when I speak, I will probably repeat something that you have already heard. But I have no control over that, because after I did that first talk and I went to Sarvaantaryami, Swami called me and he was very sweet to me, like any mother would to a child, and said, you spoke very nicely, but you spoke too fast. You speak very fast. Slow down a little bit. You spoke very fast. So I said, Swami, I was very nervous. So he said, no, you think. And I said, they suddenly asked me and I did not write down. I had actually written down a couple of sheets for that talk. But I didn't say anything that I had written down. So I told him that I didn't say anything I had written down. Swami, did I speak okay? So he said, don't write down. You are just a tape recorder. When I turn it on, you speak. When I turn it off, actually he used the Telugu word, nor muyi. Shut up. When I turn it off, close your mouth. So I have been doing that. So I hope your good fortune is there today and you will hear what you like to hear. But it is up to him and he decides what I have to say. So it started out with the mic. So I know that this is what is making me speak today. See, it was Swami's 80th birthday. I have to tell you, this mic has been in many times in my talk has been a difficult thing because I'm not very tall. So the poor brothers will set it up for the announcer who is tall, and then they have to come running to reduce it, raise it, reduce it, do all sorts of things to make it plausible for me to speak. So the same thing happened. I went in June during Swami's 80th birthday. Swami's birthday was in November. I went in June, my whole family, we had gone. And Swami asked me, very sweetly, are you coming for my birthday? He asked. Usually I did not go for birthday because first of all it was very crowded. Secondly, I was a teacher and you cannot just take so much time off when so many people want to take time off during Thanksgiving, which usually clashes with Swami's birthday. So we had a policy in the school that I worked that you could not take your vacation time during that time. So this was the school policy. So I never usually went. The last birthday I had attended was Swami's 63rd birthday. So 80th I had no plans of going. So he asked me, when he said, are you coming for my birthday? I did not want to say, no Swami, I'm not coming for your birthday. So I said, if you want me to come, I will come. So he said, if you come, it will make me very happy. He said, if you come, it will. So that is a command when it is so difficult to make the Lord happy. Because every second of the day we are doing something that will make him unhappy. Either through thought, words or actions. Actions may be good, words may be good, but we will be thinking something. There's no harmony. So when he said that, I thought, oh, this is a very easy thing, no? To make a trip to. So I went back to my school. When school reopened in the fall, I told the director of my school that, this was still in September. So I said, in November, I would like to take a week off because I have to go back to India. She said, you just got back. I said, yes, I need to go back. You wouldn't understand, but it's a personal reason. So she said, no, the policy. I had worked in that school by this time for 17 years. She knows me very well. So she said, you never asked for time off like that. What is it? I said, it's a personal reason. You wouldn't understand, but I have to go. She said, no, I'm really sorry, Geetha. If we do this once, it will happen all the time. With other teachers, it's difficult to set this thing. So, please don't ask me for that, she said. So I came back home and I sort of prayed to Swami and I felt for it. He said it makes him happy. So I went back the next day and I said, I'm really sorry. I know this is the beginning of the school year. I'll work till November. Please hire someone and I'll train that teacher to take my place, but I will be resigning in November. I told her. She looked at me a little shocked and she said, for the sake of 1 week's vacation, you are going to resign? I said, I will be resigning. This is something that I have to do. But it is all right. You hire someone now because it's still September and October, all the way up till the 20th of November. She can work with me, whoever you hire, and I will leave. So that happened and she was a little taken aback. And then she said, okay, let me at least talk to the board members of the school. Let us see. I said, even if you give me 3 days, it takes me 1 day to go, 1 day to come back. Just 3 days, I will go and I will come back. Then I just come and tell him. I said, I don't know, you want me to come? These people are not. Well, I just resign. He was the one who had told me to take that job. So I had to take his permission to resign. So I told him, Swami, I have to resign your job. Then about 10 days later, she called me. And she said, I can't believe I have to tell you something. So I said, oh, I know what that means. So she said, Geetha, the board said Mrs. Ram is asking for 3 days off. This must be something important. She's worked for 17 years. She has never asked. Let's give her 3 weeks instead of 3 days. So I got my vacation. I didn't know. I went. My husband and children could not come. I went. I arrived in Prashantanilayam on the 18th of November. 19th, as you know, is the Ladies' Day. When I went there was a note on my room door saying, please go to room so-and-so in East Prashanti. Somebody wants to talk to you from the organization. So I said, I wonder what this is about. But I had brought some package for someone in that group, somebody who I knew personally. So I thought maybe she's just trying to, get the package for me. I took it and I went there on 18th afternoon after morning darshan. And she was there, Mrs. Madhuri, Mr. Naganan's wife, and she said, I said, Sairam. She said, oh, I said, this was not someone else. You please give this. And she said, no, that's not why I left a note for you, Geetha. We have a list of speakers for the Ladies' Day tomorrow. And we took it to Swami to approve the list for 3 ladies. And Swami has included your name for that talk. She didn't say Swami. She said Swami wants you to speak on the 19th. So I assumed that, on that Punjabi canteen upstairs, they used to have that devotional hall where sometimes for foreigners, they have a talk. So I said, oh, when are we going to do that? Because The morning program is so long, then everybody goes to lunch, then evening program is there. When am I supposed to speak on the Punjabi canteen hall there? So she said, no, not Punjabi canteen hall, this Kulwant hall. I said, excuse me, what are you saying? She said, no, Swami, I said that you should speak here on Ladies' Day to this Kulwant. I was a complete wreck, a nervous wreck, because it was so unexpected. This was Swami's 80th birthday. Lakhs of people had come, and I was an unprepared thing. And I came home, my parents were there back in the room, and I told them what had happened, and they were nervous wrecks because they know that I had spoken in many retreats. What I going to prepare, whatever. I called my husband, who was extremely helpful by saying, Swami, I told you not to prepare, don't prepare, he said. I'm like, excuse me, this is like lakhs of people for Swami's birthday, what are you talking? Anyway, I did not prepare based on what he had said, but in my head, I went there. The early morning at 6:30, I know I started with the mic, I'm coming, I'm just giving you the atmosphere of the 18th. So they told us, there were 3 of us, they said, all the ladies please come at 6 in the morning because we want to check the microphone heights. This is Prashanti Nilayam. Once the ladies come, nobody will come and change mics, move mics, because Swami is sitting here. If we know that Swami is sitting here, we are not doing all these movements, isn't it? We are aware, and the minute you utter Om, he has entered 2 minutes before he says, before we say Om. He says, I respect the singers and my devotees who have made the time to come to see me. So he is already present. So we are not going to be. So they told us you come at 6 o'clock to check the mic. So this is one lady like Pavitra here, 5 feet 8 inches tall. Another lady, me, 5 feet tall. Somebody in between. So 3 mics, Ladies' Day. These poor college boys have to sit. So they said, Auntie, we want to check volume, this, that. Because in front of Swami we can't come. Especially in front of ladies, they can't come. So they were very smart. They had all these 3 different mics. So that they just, when one lady finishes and walks away, they will come and put the second mic, that lady finishes, third mic. So there's no adjustment going on. So anyway, they can. They have set up this podium. Thank you, brother, for bringing this table for me. And they had set this podium. So this lady came, she stood perfectly fine. Second lady came perfectly fine. Third lady, me came. I was the third speaker. I am Ashari Ravani. There is no body, only voice can be heard. Because I am hidden behind the podium. So poor boys, they said, oh my God, Auntie, nobody can see you in this huge Kulwant hall, you are submerged behind. They said, don't worry, Auntie. After all this mic test and all, we will put a stool for you. You please climb on that stool. How will you put the stool? Because the tall lady, then she will be even taller 5'10". Middle-sized lady does not want stool. So they said that we will push it near the podium. Auntie, can you pull it out and stand? Some arrangements. I said, okay, don't worry. So everything happened, and of course, I had a very nice Sarvaantaryami experience at this point. So on that day, they had all the VIPs, the ministers had come, their wives had come, so many people had come. So they had the chairs for all of the important people who were attending the thing there. And I was given that chair like my dear sister Mangal had today for me, front chair. I was chair number 1, first time in my life. Because then chair 2, chair 3, all were there. They made me sit there. I was early, well in time. Then one very, very important lady, she came and sat next to me. I have not gone, as I told you, for Swami's birthday since 62nd birthday. So this is 80th. Nobody has seen me in these big functions. And even if there's Swami, I will not be in that 7 chairs area. So I sat there and the lady looked at me little while. It was still very quiet, 7 in the morning. After a little while she said, Sairam. I said, Sairam. I know that she is very, very curious to know who I am. Because I am occupying chair number 1. I know that because she kept looking at me. She couldn't place me. So then after a little while she said, Satisai Central Trust member's wife? I said, no. And she was hoping, for some more information. I didn't give it. By this time, the naughty me has blossomed. Second question, she said, oh, just now the planetarium opened. No, must be their family member. No. State convener? No, ma'am. I'm not state convener. So now she's really confused. She has gone through the main office bearer positions. Then after a little while, which country are you from? She asked. Because if it is India, she would have known me. That's what. I said, I am from USA. Oh, foundation member. At that time, I was not in the foundation. Now I am some foundation GC advisor. But I said, no. I live in Washington, D.C. So by that time, Om Gananantva, all that started. No more conversation. There, how Swami loves that. The Vedas are going, bhajans are going, Nadaswaram is going, the Kerala people are blowing those huge horns. Everything will happen at the same time. And the children's school, all that started, and of course I made this step of answers to her, forgetting Sarvaantaryami, Swami is there. I made this kind of job, in fun, which was a very deliberate attempt on my part, and my heart started to pound. Oh my God, I'm going to go to that podium. First of all, Ashari Ravani, I don't know whether they have put the stool or not. And I am sure my brain will go blank because Swami is not going to help me after being so this thing to this very, very important lady sitting next to me. I knew who she was. So these two ladies spoke and I came and I passed the podium because Swami was sitting. I want to take his Pada Namaskar. I passed it, and as I passed, from the corner of my eyes, I saw that when they moved my height mic, they have pulled that stool out. And that stool is that, you would all have seen those little plastic things you get in India to take a bath and all. It's probably the diameter about 7 mm. 6 or 7 mm. I passed and I'm thinking, how much do I weigh? How much do I weigh? Because if I stand on that stool and the legs go flat, my chin will hit the podium. So I paused and I went there, and then Swami said, what are you going to talk? He asked me. So by this time the brain also is blank. I have not prepared also. I said, whatever you say, Swami, I said. Whatever you say. In a split second, he picked up 2 incidents. He said, you talk about that Hispanic lady in New York, and you talk about the baby's Glaxo Dabba. He said like that. I said, okay, Swami, I took Padamskar. I gave him the rose, he gave it back to me. And then I turned, that fear is there. Now I have to climb on that thing. I'm sure the ladies will understand. And as I turn, he's a very, very naughty Swami also. He looks at me and says, Badranga ekku. Climb carefully. I said, Swami, climb carefully. Nothing will happen, go and talk. So very hesitantly I went and I delivered my talk, and all that is over. And after the birthday celebration, he's not going to let us off. If deliberately we set out to do something knowingly, unknowingly if you do it, it's one thing. I have done this with this lady, played this hide and seek with her. No, he's not going to let me. I had forgotten about that. Unfortunately, on that birthday, as we came home, my mother-in-law on the following day, having come to Prashantiniliyam, she passed away after having Swami's darshan back in Bangalore. So when my husband returned, came for that, and then we came back to Parthia after the ceremonies, 13 days or whatever was over, Swami called us for interview, spoke to my husband very lovingly, beautifully, told what instructions for his father, because my mother-in-law has passed away. He finished all that, and life is an interval between pleasure and pain. That happened. And then he turned to me and he said, you spoke very nicely, he said. I said, thank you, Swami. He said, why did you stop after 12 minutes? He said. I said, they had told us 12 minutes. So he said, when they told you 12 minutes, you should have looked at me, I would have asked you to continue. I had not looked. 12 minutes. I spoke for 12 minutes and finished. And then he says, Central Trust member's wife? No. State convener? No. Planetarium family? No. Which country? USA. Foundation member? No. He repeated my whole conversation that I had. Said, hey, why did you give so much trouble to that lady? So I had a very Sannihita Sambandham, that is the name of the book actually. An inseparable bond with him. I said, Swami, one day I sat in that VVVIP. I just wanted to retain. You see how foolish. I wanted to just behave, So Swami said, you have to become my VVVIP. Why do you worry about being VVVIP with others? So that was the lesson for me, that we have to strive to do what he wants us to do, rather than what others wants us to do. Especially as we take our positions in the organization, whatever we may do, or in our own professions. If we are constantly questioning ourselves, is this what Swami would want me to do? Is this what Swami would want me to do? Is this what Swami would want me to do? Then we have to do what Swami. If that is not a priority, then comes the difficulty. So that is how this Sarvaantaryami, my silly conversation with some lady in the hall, he was able to pinpoint every sentence that I had uttered to her. Every sentence. And that has been the thread of my life. That has been the thread. He has been a mother, he has been a father, he has been a very good friend, he has been a teacher. But through all of that, he has been very, very present. And wherever I give a talk, people ask me that, Auntie, that is because you had that physical proximity. What about those of us who did not have that? How do we feel his presence? How do we connect with him? How do we understand that he knows that we are here? And that is a very legitimate question, isn't it? Because I was very fortunate to have been born in that family at the right time when there were hardly any people. When my grandfather Sheshagiri Rao went to him, it was 1943. You can count Swami's. He became the first priest of he was not a priest by profession, but Swami made him a priest of Prashanti Nilayam. And he served as that from 1968, not only as the priest, but as Swami's personal attendant, a wonderful devotee, from whom we learnt a lot, not because he was related to us, but just by watching his devotion and unwavering devotion to Swami. In fact, when Arun and Varun were young, Swami once narrated a lot of funny incidents about Sheshagiri Rao to them in the interview room. Thank you all very much for welcoming my son Arun and Sumana and Achintya and Soumya to your center with so much love. I'm so happy that they are coming here and being able to participate in all of your activities and sing the bhajans and the children to make use of the Balivikas. Wherever we have gone, Swami has provided very well for them to continue in his work. So that has been the underlying thing for me. So it is very difficult actually to do anything because I know that he is watching. I know that he is watching, he's listening, he's hearing what I'm saying, he's listening what I'm saying, and many times, like every one of you, I'm also on the same journey and I forget that. I remember once saying when I was Achintya's age to him, I had done something mischievous at home. I was reading some book and in my age of my time, we were not allowed to read comic books at home. In my age groups, if some ladies and gentlemen are there, they will say that your English will get spoiled because of the way they write the slang English in comics. So I was not allowed to read comics. But of course, like any child, I wanted to read it. So somehow I got it and I had hidden it behind a whole lot. Of course, Swami used to come to our house and he used to have lunch in my room. So very, very diligently, the morning that Swami comes, My bookshelf will have all Satya Sai Speaks in the front with Enid Blyton books, Barbara Cartland books, depending on which age I was, those books in the back. And Satya Sai Speaks in the front. So this comic was also in. And when Swami came in to have dinner in my room, my father will follow him, my mother will say, okay, go and bring the food. He will say, so they will be quickly coming from the kitchen, bringing the food to serve Swami. And that would be my dreaded moment, because I don't know what he's going to do. My job was to serve Swami water as a small girl. And he will go up to my bookshelf, hold four Satya Sai Speaks and take it out and look behind. And he'll say, oh, now these are the books you are reading, is it? And he will put it back. So in such a gesture, he caught the comics, which I had hidden. He took out the books, the comics are behind. So he said, what is this? Vintane, kantane, jentane, ventane, eppudu untunnanu kada. I am always you, behind you, beside you, with you. I was a young, small one. And he said, I said to him, Swami, why don't you go behind somebody else? Why are you all the time behind me, finding out what I am doing and getting me into trouble? So when we were young, that was a problem actually. Because even for us, when we grow up, right, it is very easy. I remember even Arun and Varun growing up, I would tell them, how long are you talking on the phone? And they said, oh, this morning you spoke for 30 minutes to Maya auntie, why are you telling me? So it becomes a problem because the children will tell it back to us. So this was the thing. Now the most wonderful experience of him being the Sarvaantaryami, I thought I'll share, because here I am in Houston. I was sharing this with Mangal and Sanjeev ji the other day. Many years ago, I came for a regional retreat in Texas. And it was many years ago, probably 25 years ago. And one of the speakers, there were two speakers for the regional retreat. A lot of people had come, maybe 480. Two very beautiful things happened actually. One of the speakers was the very well-known speaker who has given many, many talks in front of Swami, was Brother Jagadishan from Malaysia. The second speaker was unknown me. These were the days of no YouTube. So whenever people heard, if they taped a cassette, they would pass it around to devotees, but it was not all over the place where everybody. So nobody knew I was there. But anyway, I had requested the organizers that please, usually what happens, I found that when I go as a speaker, when one speaker is speaking, they take the second speaker to speak to the Balavikas children or to speak to the parents, or they will have something else for them. So I said, look, I would like to listen to Brother Jagadishan. Please don't schedule anything for me when he is speaking. So I sat, I was also 27 years younger. I sat on the floor, he spoke. It was extremely hot, it was in the Labor Day weekend. Of course, Maryland had cooled down where I am from, and it was very, very hot. And the hall itself, of course, had AC and everything, but the room that they had given me was a little bit away. So you had to walk from the room to the main devotional hall, and it was extremely hot. So I had worn a cotton sari. I came and sat down. Brother Jagadishan, of course, gave a beautiful talk. It was over. Then later on in the afternoon was my talk. And I did not go and change or anything. It was my talk. It was a nice cotton blue sari. I wore it. I had lunch. I met with all the other people. And then I spoke at around 4:30 or whenever they had it. I finished speaking. I did my usual Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim, which Swami through someone else had taught me when I ended. And in fact, he told me, whenever you speak, you say that. Because the meaning of that sloka, it is in one of the dhyana slokas of the Bhagavad Gita. Mukam karoti vachalam. You can make a dumb person speak. Mukam is one who cannot speak. Vachalam, they can talk more than necessary also sometimes. But mukam karoti vachalam, you can make a dumb person speak. Mukam karoti vachalam. Pangum langhayate girim. Pangum is one who cannot walk, who is lame. You can make a lame person climb a mountain if you so wish. Pangum langayate girim. Yat krupa tamaham vande. If we have your krupa, your grace, Paramananda Madhavam, oh Madhava, if you are happy with me, Yat krupa, if your krupa is there, anything is possible. So that is how I, an ordinary housewife of kindergarten kindergarten teacher, I am coming and speaking about Swami to Swami because of his kripa. He has wanted me to do it. As long as he wants me, it will happen. So I start with that. So in any case, I said my sloka, I spoke that day, finished, this was Labor Day. Following year, I went to Puttaparthi as usual in June as a teacher. I had 2 months off. I went, and as I went in a day or so, Swami called all of us for an interview, and he was chatting. And where all have you been speaking? He asked. So I told him I was very, very fortunate. Till the time Swami left his physical form, every talk of mine he has acknowledged by saying, oh, I know you spoke there. I know you spoke here. Then once he even told me, you went very fast and you didn't tell the main line of the story. He told me of some incident. But anyway, so I said, Swami, I just went to Texas and came in September. So he said, oh, very happy. Jagdishan came, right? He asked. Yes, Swami, Jagdishan was also, brother Jagdishan was there. He said, when you go for your talks, don't you pack your clothes properly? I said, oh, you cannot argue with Swami because he is saying something. Any word that comes out of Swami's mouth is a Vedavakya. You are all chanting Vedas every day. That is coming from the divine mouth. Nothing, even a joke is not really a joke. There is a lesson. So I cannot say, no, Swami, I said, I think I pack, Swami, why? Because in my brain I am racking. Usually when I go for sari talks, I don't wear western clothes. Why is I always wear a sari. Why did he say that? But I don't know. So I said, no, Swami, I usually, I wear sari, Swami. Did I make a mistake? He said, in that Texas, you wore that blue cotton sari with silver border. Remember, no videos are there at that time, 27 years ago. Wore it, cotton sari, sat on the floor for Jagdishan's talk all day, then had lunch, then you came, and you came and stood. The cotton sari gets crumpled, no? That's the back. I have to see the chair, that's why I am standing this. You may be all wondering. Says, I had to see your ankles for 1.5 hours. Because your sari has crumpled. I still have that blue cotton sari with the silver border. 30 years ago. So do not think that when you put a picture and you put a robe and a chair, it is just for decoration. He is present. If Swami, you are going to see in Prashant Nilayam, how soon do you go and sit there? Remember, he is present. In every incident of my life, I can tell you how he knows. Whatever I say, these children were young. Many of you have heard somebody ask me, please tell that incident. So I am saying, when we first came to the US, these children were young. And they would constantly ask me if they can sit in the seat next to my driving seat when I started to drive. And they are not allowed, they had to sit in the back seat. Whatever I did, I had twin sons, this Arun and Varun, they will argue, oh, why can't you allow us? So this would happen. So one day, I got really fed up as a mother to go on telling them the same thing. So I said, please don't ask when daddy is not here. That much I thought I had used my intelligence. Because when daddy is there, I sit, right? So I can't use that excuse. So I said, when daddy is here, I sit here. And Swami comes with all of us. But when I am driving alone, Swami is not very sure about my driving. So he sits next to me. Because I am a new driver in United States of America. So he sits next to me. So that seat, I cannot put you guys there. I have to drive and take you safely. So children are so innocent, they believe whatever we tell. That is why we have to practice before we tell them. Otherwise we will be misleading them. So I told, from that day this protest stopped. No problem. They used to say, oh, Swami sit, we'll sit. You will not believe, when I first came to the US, Swami told me, don't come back for 4 years. This is your sadhana, you have to live there without seeing me for 4 years. It was the most difficult period of my life. After 4 years, the day we arrived in Washington DC, 4 years later, exactly on that day we left, back to go to India. I must have pestered my husband so much, but he said, I didn't do anything. He told you, what can I do? We arrived there after 4 years. This incident has happened about a year after we came. the car incident. I arrived in Prashanthi Nilayam. I am sitting in the line and I was just crying because for me, not having seen more than my parents for 4 years was the most difficult time. I was just crying. Swami came. These boys were sitting with my husband on the men's side. He came up to me and said, "Did your husband and children come?" He asked. I could not answer because I was crying. So he told the lady next to me, who was a Hindi-speaking lady, I am asking her if she brought her husband, but she has brought Yamuna and Saraswati. Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati she has brought. He said, he walked away. Then he had walked, those of you who have all been to Prashantaryami, you will understand, he walked quite some ways up to where those lions are. He came up, he turned around, he was not in wheelchair and all that at that time, Swami was walking, he turned around, came back all the way to me and he said, "Do not tell the children what you don't have faith in. What you don't believe, don't tell the children." So that is a very serious matter, isn't it? To tell the children something we don't believe. So I said, at that time my voice came, "What did I say, Swami?" He said, "You are telling the children the seat is mine next to you, but you are keeping all your Carnatic music cassettes. M.S. Subbalakshmi, Lalagudi Jayaraman, all the cassettes are on the seat. Where am I sitting? Where am I sitting?" He said, "All the cassettes are on the seat. Do you think the children are stupid? 1 year from now, they will ask you, does Swami sit on top of all those cassettes?" Then what will you say? They will know that the mother is telling us something she herself does not believe in. She herself does not believe. She is telling. Then where will they listen to anything that you tell them? Anything. Trust has to be earned even from children. So that is my Sarvaantaryami. Whether it is cassettes on the seat, whether he is telling the children something. So when we make him say here, when you come and you start your home, he is there. We have to remember that, Otherwise, he will not do anything. He will just leave. He'll say, "You are all enjoying without me, go ahead." He will just leave and allow you to enjoy in whatever way you want. So if we want him to stay, we have to start practicing. It is a sadhana though. I am not just saying. So that is the way my life was. So the Houston incident happened so many miles away, thousands of miles away, in a different state, in a different country, and Swami knew. But one other very sweet incident, as I am standing here, I think it has come to my thing. Because a lot of young children are also here, so nice. When I was in 3rd grade, I had a teacher called Mary Grant. Very sweet lady. I studied in a Christian school, actually an American Protestant school. And one of my teachers was a lady called Mary Grant, very, very sweet. Everybody loved her, very nice lady. My father was a very well-known maxillofacial surgeon in those days in Bangalore. She knew that. So one day when I was in class, she told me, I was like our Saumya here, 7, 8, 9 years, whatever that, 3rd grade. And she came to me and said, "Geetha, will you tell Dr. Padmanabhan that I would like to see him? I have a toothache." Because he was a dental surgeon, I have a toothache, will you tell him? Whenever he asks me to come, I will come. So I was very excited. The school teacher wants to come to my dad, who is a doctor. So I came and told my father. He said, "Bring her tomorrow." And in those days in Bangalore, we didn't have all these auto rickshaws, Uber or nothing. Was that you have to take the bus. So she lived in Coxtown, an area which is far away from where we live. From there, and I said, "If you come with me, I know where my father's office is, I can take you." So I brought her. And very, very thrilled. My father had a small practice there in Baswangudi, where Mohan and I still live when we go to Bangalore. And she came, my father saw her. Of course, in the waiting area, there was a Swami's picture. She saw it. She didn't say anything much. And she finished. My father took her inside. The treatment was over. She came back. And then she turned around to my father and said, "Doctor, I just have a request. Do you know any pulmonologist or a lung specialist? My husband has been diagnosed with tuberculosis and he has been isolated. but they are not able to treat him properly. And she was a school teacher and so was her husband. They were not very wealthy people and very staunch Catholics. So she said that, do you know of any doctor who will see us, because the appointment is taking a very long time. He's getting sicker by the minute. If you can please help. And my father was quite a well-known doctor. He said, yes, I know a couple of them. I will call them up and tell. And she did not even have a telephone. So he said, I will send a letter through Geetha to school. You please go and visit them on the day that they. So within 2 days, my father got an appointment and I went and gave her the letter and she was very happy. She said, please convey to your father my thanks. And she went there. But before she left that day in my father's clinic, she was telling my father this in the waiting room and I overheard that. She was saying, I didn't understand what the problem was, but I understood that her husband was sick. And we knew her husband because he was a very good, he used to do puppet shows. He was also a teacher. So whenever she wanted something, her husband used to come to our class and do puppet shows. So I knew a very nice gentleman. So I said, oh, Mrs. Grant, Mr. Grant is unwell? She said, yes, dear, she said. So I said, I showed her Swami's picture. And I said, oh, our Swami can cure him. Why don't you take some vibhuti? She doesn't know what is vibhuti, you know. She says, what is that? What is that? And my father, I can even now see standing there in the side saying, be quiet, you know. Be quiet and me never went together. So be quiet. So and I look at my father and say, why are you saying be quiet? Swami's vibhuti will cure him. So she said, what is that? So I said, Mrs. Grant, you know that vibhuti, it is like a white ash. I said, it will cure your husband. You take. So she said, who is he? I said, he is God. He will cure, he is God. So she smiled, you know, this is some Catholic Christian deity who has come as a patient. But I kept pestering her, so she didn't want to make me feel bad. So she turned to my father and said, doctor, if you have what she is saying, please give it to me. She said. She didn't want to disappoint me as a true teacher. So my father, glaring at me, went inside, poor thing, brought a packet of vibhuti, which we always used to have at home because Swami used to come so many times, used to give vibhuti. It was materialized vibhuti which I had given my father. He put it in a piece of paper and gave it to please take it. And I think he told her, please, don't this thing. She's very excited about everything. She said, no. So when she took it and went home that day, now every day in the school, Mrs. Grant, did you give that vibhuti to your husband? Did you give? You know, children are very persistent. If you are a Balavikas guru, you will know that. So after 1 or 2 times, she being a true teacher did not want to lie to me. So she thought, what is the harm? She mixed it in water, and because I had told you must mix it in water, that's how my mother gives it to me. To mix it. Whenever I get a fever, my mother mixes it. So I had told her something she has given. This all happened and a couple of weeks went by. Then suddenly she called me again and she said, your father has asked me to come for a follow-up. Will you please tell him, can I come day after tomorrow? I said, okay. My father said, yes. Again she came. Again I brought her from the school. My father it was a follow-up visit. And then my father asked her, did you visit that pulmonologist that I had suggested? I hope he told. She said, yes, doctor, I just went last week. They gave me an appointment. I went, okay. And they took several x-rays. There is no trace of tuberculosis at all in any of the tests or x-rays. So of course I am standing there. I told you, it is that vibhuti. And she said, you know, but one thing I must say for this little girl's exuberance, that when I started to put it in the water and give it to him, his coughing reduced. And over a period of time, the coughing reduced. So I thought, okay, whatever this is, it seems to me. She was herself a very pious and religious lady. So she said, whatever it is, she gave it. And by the time they got the doctor's appointment and went, there was no TB sign. She said, so then my father said, but my father said, you go again to one more doctor, get second opinion. They went through the whole process, she got. So this all happened over a period of a month and a half, no TB. Then she said, Dr. Padmanabhan, I want to ask you, can I come and see this guru of yours? My father said, sure, please come. So we said we'll pick her up in Coxton on the way to Vrindavan. So you can imagine a small kid's excitement, right? I'm taking my teacher to see Swami, and I'm very sure I want to tell Swami, your Vibhutika cured. I want to tell Swami. So we picked her up, but when we went to pick her up, we picked up another lady who was going to be my 4th grade teacher. Her name was Mercy Wesley. This is Mary Grant. So Mercy Wesley, she said, they were very close friends, those two. So she said, Doctor, she also wanted to come. She has heard this whole story, right? So she was very curious, can I bring? They brought her. We all arrived in Vrindavan, started in the darshan, and Swami came. Swami came to the darshan, just walked by, I didn't say anything to them. Walked by my mother and me, and the 2 ladies smiled. And finished, bhajan got over, everything got over. Swami went back in. So these 2 ladies looked at my mother and said, this is it, is it? I mean, Swami just walked out, came to the bhajan, took aarti, because they don't know anything. Is this it? Yes, my mother said, that is called as darshan. He comes and gives. They understood, because they have seen the Pope come out and give darshan and all, they know. We were sitting there, everybody. My father, as usual, behind Swami, went inside the building. My mother had told them ahead of time, till my husband comes, we'll have to wait there. So after about almost 20 minutes, all the devotees left. My father came running out and he said, Swami is saying he wants to see the 2 teachers. So you can imagine the exact. So I got at that time already disappointed because I didn't tell Swami how great he is. He gave the vibhuti. I mean, it was cured. So we went inside in that old bungalow. You would have all seen the pictures of old bungalow in Vrindavan. Swami had a big sort of a hall there with a beautiful mural on the wall. So we went and we stood there. Swami was talking to someone. He came back. As soon as he came to them, he said, good morning, Miss Mary, Miss Mercy. See, he spoke to them in English. They are 2 Christian ladies and he knew their names. My father has not told. He said, go and bring Geeta's teachers. He brought them. And they also said, good morning, sir, to Swami. They said, good morning, sir. Then Swami looked at Mrs. Grant and said, how is your husband? No TB? She said, no, they have not found anyone. Of course, she is thinking in her head that my father must have told Swami about all these things. So yes, he is much better. Dr. Padmanabhan sent us to this doctor. He said, so Swamis were very happy, very happy. He said, no, in 2 more weeks his cough will go away. No more TB, Swami told her. So she said, thank you. And then I, of course, was dying to say something here. So Swami, I made daddy give the vibhuti. He said, telusu, come and kucho. He said, I know, be quiet. Then he spoke to this other lady, Mercy, how is your brother Joseph? Now those 2 ladies know, we know nothing about, because they have not told us anything about any Joseph in their family. Swami looks at her, how is your brother Joseph? So she's a little taken aback and she says, he is doing very well, Swami, thank you. So then Swami says, he is a pastor in Kerala and names the name of the town, that small town where he is a pastor in the church. Is it not? Swami said, yes, very good pastor. Everybody in the congregation like him. He's a very good man, Swami said. So yes, Swami, that is my brother Joseph. Now everybody is now agog, right? Because this is something new. Then Swami waved his hand and materialized, we could not say, but one big cross, a brass cross, and one something else more. He materialized it and he took it out and he turned to that Mercy Wesley, my teacher who was going to be in 4th grade, and said, this is your father's cross? Your father was a pastor in the same church too, is it not? She said, yes, sir. I said, is this not your father's cross? You lost it, you all lost it when your father passed away. She said, yes, he always used to wear it. But when he passed away, we could not find it. And Swami said, he had promised that cross to give it to his son when he became a pastor, is it not? Yes, Swami, we searched when my brother graduated from the pastoral school. We could not find it anywhere, Swami. She didn't say, Swami, sir, she is addressed. Sir. Is it not? She did not want to say, yes, it is her father's. She said, maybe it is, she said, because it is a brass cross. It could be any cross. Then Swami turns the cross around And behind is her father's name, Matthew Samuel something. Inscribed at the encrypted. See, your father's name is there. She just started to cry. He said, give it to your brother. He had promised him. He's a very good pastor. Tell him to continue to do God's work. Okay. Now in his hand that other one is there. We are all curious. What is in the other? We are always very curious to know when Swami. He took out one small silver cross. He looked at Mary Grant, my teacher, and said, when you used to go to church as a small girl, you lost your grandmother's cross which she had given. Is it not in the church? In the Sunday school. Here it is. He gave her back what she had lost in the Sunday school. This lady was in her late 50s. What she had lost in the Sunday school, he gave it to her and said, don't worry, your husband will be fine, and sent her out. This is the Sarvaantaryami Swami. Not just for us, not just if we come on Sundays, not if we just do Balavikas, but if we are following his words in whatever way that we can, whether through the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita, it does not matter. And I wanted to share that with you because you are all sitting here coming every Sunday. What lovely bhajans you all sang today. Don't forget that he is listening. Don't forget that he is here. Don't forget that he knows. He knows every thought, word and action, and sometimes we have to constantly tell ourselves that because it's hard to live in that umbrella of thought, word and action harmony. It's hard for all of us, no doubt. That's why he says, even if you cannot oblige, speak obligingly at least, because all the time we cannot. But it is very important to develop that sense of being with him. You can do that. The way you can do that is to always be with a set of people who will increase your devotion rather than decrease your devotion. Who will increase your thoughts of him rather than talk about something and decrease your thoughts. If you do that, the mind gets used to it. It's a practice. Slowly it has to come slowly. And when you do that, you will also feel his presence. Not only me, you will also. Where was Mary and Mercy Grant? But they were pious Christians. That is why he was able to show them. They came once or twice after that. They did not come back to Vrindavan and become great devotees or anything. But Swami showed that there is a Jesus with them. And in that Houston where I wore the blue sari, they had assigned one lady called Joy to me, to take me from devotional hall to dining hall to Balavikas, Gurus, whatever it was, just because I didn't know where. They had given her a room next to me, very, very sweet lady, She used to prepare, and I used to chat with her while walking. And she said, no, Sister Geetha, I have not been to Prashantiniliyam. No, Sister Geetha, I have not seen Swami. I only know him from the books. And I said, oh, one day I'm sure you will come to Prashantiniliyam as our source. You will come, I'm sure, Swami. And after that trip to Houston, when he corrected me about the blue sari, he asked me, how is Joy? And he asked the people in the interview room, do you know what is joy? Everybody said happiness, Swami, Ananda, Swami, bliss, Swami. We gave so many meanings. He said, how do you spell joy? Arun said, J-O-Y, Swami. Bliss, Swami, Ananda. He said, no. He said, Jesus first, others next, yourself last. That is joy. When you do that, you become joy. That Joy was doing that. She was putting me first. She loved Swami. She loved her Jesus. Jesus first. Others next. Think of others. Don't worry whether you got the mic, you got the tabla, you got the... No. See who else would like to sing and offer a bhajan for. Yourself last. Especially when we occupy these positions. Yourself last, as last as possible. So I hope I've given you a small sense of the Sai who runs through all of our hearts. He's there for each and every one of us. Not just for Geetha Mohan Ram, who was born long ago and there was nobody else in Puttaparthi, so he gave her attention. Somebody asked me this question, must be there was nobody there for Swami. He gave you people so much attention. It's also partly true. There were not many devotees. But you know what Swami gave to the answer? When nobody believed me, you believed me, so I am giving you attention. I asked him, I told him this question, Swami, everybody is asking me when I go. Somebody in a public meeting asked me, do you know what great thing that you have done? I said, I wish I knew. I don't know. I told Swami, he said that yes, when nobody came to Prashanti Nilayam in the days that was so difficult. We used to take 24 hours, describing the other day, 24 hours to get there. Longer than what it takes you all from Texas to Bangalore now to land. It used to take us Bangalore to Prashanti Nilayam. 100 miles, more than 24 hours. Difficult. The love for Swami drew us there. So I see that the love for Swami has drawn all of you here. Thank you for coming and giving me the opportunity to think of him, think of his glory and share it with all of you, and sharing your Sunday with me today. Sure. Just hold it close to us.
Sairam Gitanti, thank you so much for the beautiful satsang. It's very informative. We shared a Google form. Yes, we shared a Google form with everyone to ask some questions. So the first.
If I know the answers, I will give.
So the first question is: Swami has stressed about Bharatiya Samskriti and has been a Veda Purusha. A lot of Westerners have also been attracted towards it. However, as parents of children born here, we are quite challenged with our children finding the connection with our roots, even though they have been given ample exposure growing up. Even in India, parents have this challenge with even their children who are born and raised there. Some youngsters are drawn to spirituality and our culture on their own. Is there anything that we are not doing or can do better on this matter?
To teach them the Vedas or just the roots of their Bharatiya roots? You know, please understand that whatever I say, these are all answers that has been given to me by Swami over a period of time. So none of this is what I have thought up. So just having said that, Swami always says that whatever the children become are due to whatever the parents give them. So the parents cannot wash their hands off of it and say we send them to Balavikas once a week and therefore they should become this, that or the other. Balavikas is once a week, an hour a week. You have them for the rest of the time. So I want to make that very clear, and I am not somebody who will dilute anything that Swami has said to please anybody in the crowd. So I am putting a disclaimer also. I will say it exactly. So whatever our children become, especially in the formative years, what we give them, they become. No doubt though, the environment plays a huge role, and I am seeing with my own children, my own grandchildren, my children have also grown up here. It is very difficult to combat the environment, and I understand that. And even between the time that I brought up my children and they are bringing up their children, there is a big difference. So I do understand that, and that is true in India also. Everywhere this technology, friends, all this is there. But at home, the amount of time that we spend with our children is very, very important. You know, we cannot say that if we want them to know something, okay, here is a book, read it. Here is the Ramayana book, read it. Here is the Mahabharata, Bhagavatam book, read it, or whatever book. You will have to sit down with them and talk about it to them. What did you read today? What does it mean? What did the teacher, many of this, I have been a Balavikas Guru all my life. The Balavikas Guru spend a lot of time to prepare their lesson plans and come. But I know as a Balavikas Guru that the parents don't even ask them, what did your teacher teach you today in the class? They don't ask them. So as parents, we have to take the responsibility of asking the children, what did you learn today? They will tell you, oh, we all wrote some values today. What value did you write? What does it? You have to take the time to talk to them. You have to take. I don't think there is a second way to that. The other thing is, if you are practicing the things that you are telling the children to do, they will also learn it. They will also learn, because just out of sheer practice, they will just hear you doing it and saying it, and they will learn. As far as the Veda chanting and other things are concerned, we have to do it in small doses, so to speak, If a child has not been exposed and you are a new devotee and you have started to come to the center and suddenly you catapult them from not having done it into something, suddenly 1.5 hours go to Veda class. That is also an unrealistic expectation. So some common sense also has to be used. But unless you at home do what your children are telling you, then it is very difficult to make them do it. So that is the first thing. Second, talk with the children. Discuss with them, chat with them, know what they are doing. Not only about this, even about school. Who are your friends? What do you talk to them when you meet them? It's important to have that communication, I feel. And above all, pray to Him. He will guide us. He will guide us to bring our children up well, if truly our heart is in it. We are not bringing there just so that on one day, on Ishwarama Day, my daughter should become Sri Krishna or Radhika or whatever it is. If that is not the intention of coming to Bal Vikas, poor Radhika. I'm using her name a lot these days. I don't mean this Radhika. So, the intention, the sankalpa of the parent also has to be true. Why are you bringing them to Bal Vikas? Is it for them to learn the values and lead that life, or just on one day to showcase their talent? You have to look at yourself. Because if it is the values, then every week is important. Every time there is a party in somebody's house and you are missing Bal Vikas, then that your intention is not truthfully correct. I am being candid again, and I am speaking as a guru. Isn't it? So, that's where the answer. I hope I have not offended anybody. I don't mean offense, but that is what Swami has told me, and I am passing it on. You can question him.
So, okay, so thank you. The next question is why is there a lot of negativity in the world? How can we change that negativity into positivity and apply it to day-to-day activities?
We cannot change the world. We can only change ourselves. Swami has said that in thousands of... He has said if you point one finger, 3 are already pointing towards you. We cannot change. We don't have the power. He has come for 86 years in an avataric mission. And even after he has left, we still have so many problems. So, even he at his level cannot change the whole world. But he has changed all of you. You are here on a Sunday morning instead of doing whatever it is that you would love to do. He has changed you. So you can only change yourself, and then only we can tell others. And that's a difficult thing. That is the sadhana. That is why we come. And the way to change ourselves is to do namasmarana. That I know is very, very popular for everybody. Everybody loves to sing bhajans. They like their children. They like to sing all that. But the bhajan, we must remember, is only one tool. Swami has given 3 tools. One is the devotional activity of singing bhajans, namasmarana, no doubt most powerful. Second is the study circle he has given in the devotional wing. We have to understand his teachings. If we don't know what he is saying, how can we change ourselves? We have to know what is Swami's message. So we have to attend the study circles, read the books, listen to the discourses. We have to do that. When you say, I want to do sadhana to change myself, that's part of the sadhana. Part of the sadhana. Then of course he has given seva. When we see the difficulties of others, we realize how much we have. In fact, we have too much. We all have too much. Once in an interview room when my husband and I were there, it was not for us, but he called Dr. Goldstein actually. And Dr. Goldstein was a big person for those who have seen. And he was a cardiac surgeon or cardiologist. And he had just arrived in Prashanti Nilayam. We were sitting outside and he called him and he said, when did you come? I said, Kemsat. Which class did you come? He asked. Dr. Goldstein. He had come by first class or something. We could not hear very well. We were still outside. And Swami said, why that money you use for seva? We heard that. Swami telling. After that, I know Dr. Goldstein always traveled by economy. So what I'm saying is we have to change. Sadhana means all the three wings have to work together. Not just one, not just bhajan singing, not just seva, not just study. You have to do all of that.
Beautiful, thank you. The next question is how to feel or connect to the divinity within me. The harder I try, only tears are rolling down from my eyes.
How to connect?
Connect with the
I
divinity.
think I already answered. The thing is, the company we keep is what will make you good. Because you will be coming to the bhajan, you will sing bhajans, you attend talks, whatever it is. But then after you go home, if the company that you keep is negative, the mind is a mad monkey, Swami says. It goes on jumping from one thought to the other. So if you are mixing with people who are constantly talking about negative things, the power of this 1 hour is very much superseded by those negative thoughts. You know, once I don't know, maybe Arun can correct me, and this I know Brother Sundaraya also many times before in his old talks he used to say that when you have a dish full of which you want to clean in your sink, if you open the water, all of the bad things keep coming out and slowly you will have pure water in that dish, right? It will all come. So like that, the negativity, if you are mixing more and more into that water will never be clean, isn't it? So it is the satsanga that we keep, the sangha that we keep. That's very important to connect to Swami. Of course, all of these activities that Swami has prescribed. So only then we can connect to Swami. And of course, listening to Swami's glory. Listen to Swami's glory. How, see, none of us have seen Rama or Krishna. But the minute the Ayodhya temple, everybody was glued to the TV in India when I was there, when they opened that Ayodhya temple, right? Why? Have you seen Rama? We have not seen Rama, but how did we develop love for Rama? By listening since childhood to Ramayana, the Rama story, your grandmother told, my grandmother told, everybody's grandmother told them stories. How are the children connecting to, I don't know, Achintya can tell me all the big soccer players, but my time I was telling even in the Gurus, we all loved Gavaskar playing cricket. If somebody said Gavaskar is a useless fellow, Pataudi is better, say, hey, what are you talking? I said, we'll get angry. Have we met Gavaskar? No. Have we? This is for a man who is hitting a ball across the field, we are having so much love. What about that Bhagavan who has given us everything? What about that Bhagavan? Talk about him, think about him, read about him. Make friends with people who love him. You will connect to him.
Beautiful. The next question is, when worldly duties seem to add on, is limiting the engagement with the Sai organization an acceptable path?
And children in here?
Just in general, worldly duties, limiting engagement with them.
No. Huh?
People say they're too busy to do Swami.
Oh, if they're too busy to come,
Is it okay
ultimately.
to sacrifice the Swami portion of it?
Exactly.
No. You know what Swami said? Again I am saying only Swami's words. Swami said, 1 hour you think of me, 1 hour I will protect you. Why are you asking 24-hour protection? 15 minutes you think of me, 15 minutes I will provide you food. Why are you asking food for 365 days? Isn't it? We all understand in America we say no free lunch. No free lunch with the Lord either. What we put in, that is what we get. So, worldly life is there all the time. Who doesn't have? Imagine the Lord's life. He has to listen to, this is one center, I don't know how many people are here. He has to listen to 250 or 150 people here. All your prayers, desires, he has to listen. This is just one center. Imagine the amount of desires people have and they are asking him every second. He has more work than all of us put together in 1 minute. Then why should he listen to us? No. You have to make time. You have to make time. Whatever, little way, you have to make time. You have to make time. Even with young babies, my children were babies, just 3-month babies. I used to sit in Vrindavan with them, my mother in the shade. I used to sit. When Arun was slightly older, the first word he uttered one morning, got up and said, Om. He did not learn Mom, Mummy, Daddy, Swami, nothing, because that's what every morning he used to hear when he woke up in the puja room, my husband doing his prayers. Oh, oh, every time I turned on the blender, to blend, he will say Om in that Shruti. Whenever I turn the blend. So, we can't, we have to. But of course, obviously, if you have an elderly mother that you have to look after, an elderly person or a very small baby or a sick husband, please use common sense. You say, Swami, today, please be with me here when I have to do this duty. Silence.
So the next question is the inner voice God's voice or intuition coming from my past experiences?
Past life experience or past experiences? Just
in
past.
this life.
Yeah, Swami, I know that can be a very confusing thought, right? Whatever we want, that only will come as a good answer. That only will come as a good answer. Because we want that answer. We want that answer. So we'll say we sat in the puja room, same answer came. And then you will put one chit. And the chit will give a different answer. Then you'll say, no, I think better to put 3 times. People say 3 times is better. 9 times is better. 21 times. Till that chit says what you want, you will be putting. 108 times Ashtotra, 1008 times Ashtotra. All that we don't know. Swami says that you have to question yourself. What is it that you are asking? Is it a dharmic desire? Does it involve sealing on desire? Is it beneficial? Arun always likes to say, he was telling his son the other day, my Swami used to come in our house and actually say the 4-way test to us as children. Do you know the rotary 4-way test he used to tell? My father used to tell Arun. Swami used to tell us, though it was my father's rotary 4-way test. You know what it is? Is it the truth? That is the first question. Whatever you do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it bring goodwill and better friendship? One more thing is there. I missed. So, you ask yourself, what I am doing, is it the truth? Is this really what I want, or is it just something because everybody else has? Is it fair to everybody? Will it bring goodwill and better friendship? If I do this, will we all be together as good friends?
Beneficial.
And is it beneficial to all concerned? Or will it just do good for only me standing here? So you ask yourself and then you pray to God. And if you sit for 15 minutes very quietly, that inner voice will tell you, hey, this is your desire. Or it will say, yes, this is a good thing for everybody. There is no harm in doing it. Sorry.
So we have a little bit of time for a couple more questions. So we're going to open it up to the audience here. So if anyone has a question they would like to ask Geetha Aunty, please
I've already
raise your
said, if I
hand.
know the answer, I'll give, and all my answers are what he has.
Yes, please raise your hand and we'll pass the mic to you.
Oh, there's a lady here.
Is there a mic here to you?
Oh, it is 10 minutes, I guess. Huh? It's okay. So think up your questions within 10 minutes because I'm going to stick with time.
About Ramayana and Mahabharata, did Swami say it really happened or it's a myth? Because a lot of people think it never happened. How can Hanuman be a monkey? So what are your thoughts on that? And I have a personal question to you. Did Swami shout at you or correct you?
You'll have to invite me 3 more times for that one. Yes, Swami has said that it has really happened at a time when we are not able to envisage because our minds have become smaller as the generations have been born. The brain abilities of the brain and body has reduced compared to the people in the Treta Yuga or in the Dwapara Yuga. Our abilities have reduced. The ability to think, the ability to physically do hundreds of years of tapas All of those abilities have reduced over generations, and therefore it is even difficult for us to imagine. And for that he has given an example also. And he says, if you try to describe to a person the ocean to a person who has never seen the ocean, how will you describe it? Will you say it is many buckets of water? Will you say it is many bins of water? Will you say it is many bathtubs of water? They will still not be able to imagine the width and breadth and depth and the beauty of the ocean. So therefore, in the same way, you are not able to envisage those avatars, which is why in the Kali Yuga, Namasmaranam Dhanyopayam. Do the Namasmarana of whatever. It does not have to be Rama if you have doubt. It does not have to be Krishna. You have seen Sai, think of him. Even those who don't come to Swami cannot envisage some of the Mahimas that I have seen. I don't like to call what I describe as a story. It is not a story. Story can be an imagination. What I am telling you is not a story. It is a Mahima. I have lived it. I have seen it. I have experienced it. It is not a story. History, Swami said. History. It is his story. It is not a story. Many times I request, please don't say it's a story, because anybody can write a story. I'm not writing a story. I'm not telling a story. I'm telling you what happened. So, Swami says the brain is not able to envisage those times. Therefore, in this current life, do Namasmarana, do Seva. Be good, do good, see good. That will be enough for you now. Why are we worried whether he came as monkey or this or that? Doesn't matter. Let us take the value from it. Swami has written Ramakatha Rasavahini. He has given a beautiful Atma Ramayana in the end where he gives everything symbolically. Read that. And then what was the other question?
How did he correct your
I already answered. That would be a very difficult thing for me to go into, because I am full of faults. All the time he was correcting me. I was his biggest problem kid when I was a kid, actually. Most difficult child. He corrected it, sometimes very firmly, sometimes very lovingly. And once he told me, same mistake you should not do twice. At least make a new mistake. Then I can correct you. Same mistake if you make over and over again. What does it means? You have no respect for what I am saying, and you don't care what I am saying. Don't repeat it at least. Make a new mistake, I will correct. So I have been very consistent with that. Anybody else? There's someone else. Oh, there's a little boy here. Sure. What's your name? Soham. Yes. Oh, Soham. He's reminding us all the time how to breathe. Soham, stand up and ask me. I'll repeat the question. No problem. It's okay.
What was it like to see Swami like every single day of your childhood?
Oh, it was a lot of fun most of the time. It was also difficult because I told you he's always behind me, catching me when I'm making mistakes, when I think he's not there. But it was also very beautiful because he was so loving. Shall I tell you how I realized what a wonderful person he was? My grand aunt, and you all, the older people may have heard it through my talks, but let me make this child happy. My mother's aunt, older lady, she was the wife of the priest in Prashanti in those days at the time when Swami was born and young boy. So Swami used to go to her house to eat sometimes because she was vegetarian and she used to cook vegetarian, being the wife of the priest. So that lady seen Swami since he was a child. Of course, became a devotee and fully devoted. She was in the later years widowed and frail, and she had come from Puttaparthi to our house. Swami had told her, you go to Padmanabh's house. Padmanabhan is my father. He was a doctor. She needed a cataract surgery, nothing major. He blessed her and sent her with my father, go get cataract surgery done and come back. So she arrived in our house and she was staying with us, and the doctor's appointment took 2-3 weeks. And the doctor gave an appointment for the cataract surgery another 2 weeks later. So totally about 5 weeks, Swami had given her some materialized vibhuti. And this lady is eating that vibhuti every day and smearing it all over her eyes every day. So by the time the date of the surgery came, she had no vibhuti left. So 2 days before that, she told my father, Padmanabh, you take me back to Prashanti Nilayam because I want some vibhuti before my surgery. I have no faith in these doctors. He will make my eye blind. He said, what is the point in going to the doctor saying he will make me blind? So my father said, he's a very well-known doctor, nothing will happen. She said, no, I want to go to Swami, I want his vibhuti. My father was a very, very busy doctor. And as all we youngsters who have no time for our elders, he too said so many years ago, I have no time to take you. Swami has already given you blessings, given you vibhuti. Just go to the doctor. Don't, because in those days going to Prasanthi from Bangalore was a difficult journey. With this old lady, and he said something, if you get some infection or they can't treat you, so no. So my parents went away to some meeting, some Sevadar meeting or something that evening. I was sitting with my my aunt in my father's living room. My parents had left. My brother had gone off to see some friends. And in those days, you may remember, in India, there used to be one phone in the living room or somewhere. We did not have phones in our pockets everywhere nowadays we have. We didn't. So the phone rang. Okay, Soham? And the phone rang and I picked up the phone. And I heard Swami's voice. And he said, is this Geetha Ma? I could recognize Swami's voice. I was just like Soumya, very young. And he said, yes, Swami, is that you? He said, yes. And Sarvaantaryami, Swami said, is the old woman complaining? And I said, I didn't want to say yes. But the old lady had been complaining about my father. Look at these youngsters of these days. They have no respect for elders. I want to go to Prasanthi Nilayam. Your father is not taking me. And I was enjoying because she's scolding my father. But I didn't say yes. And Swami said, is she complaining? Because Swami doesn't like us to complain about others. So he said, call her to the phone. She was an old lady from a village with hardly second grade education. So she came. Hello, she shouted. From here to Penakonda you can hear. In those days, if Swami has to make a phone call, he has to walk across Chitravati river, take a bullock cart, take a bus and come to Bukkapatnam. There was one phone in the post office, and from that post office phone, Swami has to call. So imagine the journey Swami has done for the sake of his devotee. How can we connect to him? This is how you can connect to him. Because she was praying, Swami, what shall I do? I will lose my eyes. I don't want to become dependent on anybody. If I lose my eyes, who will look after me? Every day. Phone call from Bukkapatnam, that trunk call, we used to have that long distance. They'll say, Bukkapatnam post office, Sai Baba wants to talk. And Swami. So she launched into the phone and said, Swami, this doctor will make me blind. She has no faith other than God. Only Sharanagati. So, no, I gave you vibhuti. I used up all the vibhuti, Swami. I need vibhuti, Swami. Day after tomorrow, my surgery. Padmanabh is not bringing me. He said, oh, okay. I don't know what he said. Then he said, call Geetha. I was there running around like Soumya. I said, and then she said, come, Swami is saying, he's going to tell you to tell your father to take me. So, and then I know this is Swami. Swami said, is there a newspaper nearby? On the coffee table in our living room, there was some newspaper, Deccan Herald, of those days. He said, go and bring the newspaper. Yes, Swami, I have newspaper. I said, why is Swami wanting newspaper in my house? They're sitting in Bukkapatnam. Anyway, newspaper. He said, put the phone. Those old phones we used to have, that black phone. Google it, youngsters. Dial-up phones, rotary phones. I put the phone receiver on the paper and I suddenly heard shh sound like from a vent. And in front of my eyes, from the bottom of the phone, a mound of vibhuti on the newspaper. My hands were shaking. I picked up the phone. And Swami very sweetly says, Vachinda, did you get it? The Lord who has sent the vibhuti is asking me, did you get it? Just to calm me down. My hands were shaking. So Swami, so much vibhuti. He said, give it to the old lady. And he said, you tell Padmanabh Kamlamma, my Ashirvadams. I know they have gone to a meeting. Tell Jagdish also. Jagdish was my brother. Tell him also my blessings are there. You also, good girl, pack it up and give it to her. My blessings to you also. Be a good girl, he said. Disconnect. You can imagine my role, right? Balvikas Ishwaramma Day heroine. For 15 days, all the relatives visited. Hey, tell us again. How did the vibhuti come? What did auntie say? What happened? I became the center of my own Ishwaramma Day. Ishwaramma at that time was still alive. So day after day I went on saying, after 15 days everybody got bored, everybody stopped coming. Then this lady's surgery also happened. She was very happy, now I know. She made the doctor also eat it and put it on his eyes. Because she says, you have to see my eyes properly. Made him to see her face. She says, my elderly lady said, okay, ma'am, whatever you want me to eat it, okay, you want me to put it there. So he did very well. No one, Dr. Krishnamurti, many people knew him in Bangalore. Then 15 days went by. This was my first. I had many experiences, brothers and sisters, but this experience turned my eyes differently. After a few weeks had gone by, suddenly this question came to me. How did this lady connect to that Swami in Prashanti Nilayam so many hours, 24 hours away? He's not an ordinary Swami. How did he hear? No phone calls, nothing. And I understood that with devotion, when you call, he will hear you. Devotion, faith and bhakti, Shraddha and bhakti when you have, you can connect to him wherever you are. That is the main thing. Of course, the reason why we come to the center, so don't use that for a convenient say, I will connect in my house only in Zoom call and will not come to the center. No. You have to put the effort. See, we have the tendency to find an easy way out. Truly, when we connect wherever we are, he will come. But we also have to put the effort because the body and mind requires the effort. So you can't say, I won't go to the center, I'll sit in my car only and connect in the mall when I'm having coffee. That's not going to happen. So that is how Swami came to me, and it was so much fun living with him because you never know on which day through the telephone, through the car, through the tape recorder he will show up. I had a fun childhood, a beautiful childhood, but also a difficult childhood, being conscious of his presence all the time. Anybody else?
Sarvaantaryami, thank you for sharing the beautiful stories and messages. Wonderful. It's always something new. I've heard you a couple of times before, but it's always something new. Question for you though. Since you were so close to Swami, how did you cope with when he left his physical body?
Different. I think Mohan got the worst of my sadness. It was very difficult. I mean, I told you that my topic today itself was Sarvaantaryami Swami. I have experienced him away from him in so many ways. But the loss of the physical form was very difficult. I kept telling myself, what is the difference if he is in Prashanti Nilayam and I am in Washington DC? He's 10,000 miles away, it's the same thing. I am not seeing him every day, right? I am not seeing him every day. Physically he is far away, I am here. But the idea that the form was there gave a lot of strength. The idea that the form was there. Though on a day-to-day basis I was not seeing him. Once a year I went. In the first couple of years we only went once, after 4 years and so on. So it was very, very difficult, and I really had to train my mind to really keep going back to the experiences of my life, to tell myself that why am I making this transitory body as though it is not there. He is there, he is there, he is there. And I had a couple of incidents where he was there even after he left his form for me. So that also reinforced it for me. And it is still difficult, I though must say. When I go to Prashanti Nilayam, I was telling Sister Pavitra that day that every stone, every rock, every pillar, every grain of sand is a part of my very being. I could never imagine not going there. Because there is a power there. There is a power. He worked his whole mission from there. He decided to be born there. He decided to work out of there, and he decided to make that his final resting place. So when I go there, I do feel his presence, but I still miss him. But it was difficult. It was difficult. Are we all done? I think Brother Papu, Papa. Wrong. I'm sorry, I'm saying it wrong. Kumar is there.
So excited and so no words to say anything right now, but we are in joy and in bliss.
No, thank you for making me a part of your Sunday today. Thank you all.
Sister, our devotional coordinator would like to say a few words.
Sure.